Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. We're here on Monday. Happy Monday, everyone, or it's definitely a Monday. We've got a lot of news stories from over the weekend that you may have missed, as well as news stories that happened today. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast in which we look up our stories right before we've started. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those mucking headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Mucking Fonday. Thieves steal a lorry or a truck carrying over 400,000 Kit Kat chocolate bars. And a World War II bomb sparks evacuation at a council office in Surrey.
We're going to talk about the Polymark crackdown and how people are making money betting on wars with insider information.
In more news, Inspectorate imposes more than 700,000 euro in fines in Indonesian nurses affair in the Netherlands. Plus, 5 EU governments found to consistently dismantle the rule of law.
So, we are headed for the moon in a couple of days. Plus, we're going to ask the musical question or the non-musical question. Why doesn't Tiger Woods just hire a driver? And I don't mean a golf driver either.
In my culture news, AI lectures Old West folk heroes and Mark Twain. What is Bob doing joining Patreon?
I'll tell you what Bob Dylan is doing on Patreon. He is in control. That's right. It's National I Am in Control Day. I am totally in control. I keep telling myself on March 30th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
I think March is not going out like a lamb at all because it's actually incredibly cold and it was hailing earlier, so I have to disagree with that statement.
That's an American saying anyway.
It's
mild here. Mild.
Okay.
It's windy. But it's windy. But March doesn't go out till tomorrow, so we'll see. One year ago, I quit my job. Hey, it's been 1 year. I said,
yay! I guess.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. All right, let's have a spin.
Our first segue spin. Segui. It is a hypothetical.
Segue.
Segui. I just think it's funny to say Segui. Hypodermic needle. Our first story is coming out of Switzerland/Poland. It's coming out of the EU. It's from Dave Graham on The Independent. 12 tons of Kit Kat chocolate bars are missing after thieves made off with the truck transporting them. Swiss food giant Nestle said on Saturday, which I believe was Saturday. I really need to get a calendar out when it's the first day of the year, because Saturday was the 28th of March. This happened on the 20th of March. Kit Kat, which is made by Nestle, said that the truck carrying 413,793 bars of its new range set off from central Italy to distribute the chocolate throughout Europe, but never reached its scheduled final destination in Poland. Euro Truck Simulator gone wrong is what it sounds like. The vehicle and the merchandise remain unaccounted for. Nestle did not reveal where exactly the truck was lost. In a separate statement, Kit Kat said the missing bars are traceable via a unique batch code. Anyone scanning the batch numbers of the stolen chocolate would receive instructions on how to contact Kit Kat. We've always encouraged people to have a break with a Kit Kat, but it seems thieves have taken the message too literally and made a break with more than 12 tons of our chocolate, a spokesperson for Kit Kat said. Whilst we appreciate the criminals' exceptional taste, the fact remains that cargo theft is an escalating issue for businesses of all sizes, with more sophisticated schemes being deployed on a regular basis. We have chosen to go public with our own experience in the hope that it raises awareness of an increasingly common criminal trend. Last year, Nestle unveiled plans to cut around 16,000 jobs around the world as it turned to automation to help reduce costs. The boss of the consumer goods giant said it needed to change faster and secure its future as a leader in our industry. The reductions would include around 12,000 white-collar professionals across businesses, functions, and geographies. This was expected to save the company around 1 billion Swiss francs, 940 million pounds, each year by the end of 2027. It was also targeting a further 4,000 job cuts across its manufacturing and supply chain, as in blue-collar work. Nestle, which also makes household food brands such as Nescafe and Cheerios, has about 277,000 employees in countries across the world. Philip Navratil, Nestle's chief executive at the time, said, "The world is changing and the Nestle needs to change faster. This will include making hard but necessary decisions to reduce headcount over the next 2 years. We will do this with respect and transparency. The actions we are taking will secure Nestle's future as the leader in our industry. Collectively, they will enable us to improve our overall performance and deliver shareholder value." I think an independent is trying to insinuate like the people who stole the chocolate are doing it like against Nestle or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is just a happenstance, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with all these chocolate bars. Selling them?
Yeah, it's a lot of chocolate. Well, Nestle not
selling
the best
them
chocolate in the world.
At your kids, at your kids, I don't know, fundraising event or something. I don't know.
I'm
not sure what they're doing with the chocolate.
Hedberg fan club, right?
Yeah, it's not like gold where you can melt it down because it's in a wafer.
All right. What's the Mitch Hedberg Kit Kat joke?
I don't know.
What is it? I love a Kit Kat. It's a perfect snack if you're with 3 other people or something like that, because you can break off.
Yeah.
All right. So, is that the end of the story?
Is that your hypothetical?
No, my hypotheticals are an update to this story. There's an update to the story. Customs Agent Hansel and Chief Inspector Gretel have found an older lady that has built an entire house out of these Kit Kats, and they're now investigating. Let's hope that goes well for old Hansel and Gretel, and we'll see what happens. Nope.
Sounds like a great plan. We're on a delay, and it takes me a while to hear what you've said, right?
You know, there is an old lady in the Black Forest who has built an entire house of candy, and that is the basis for an old fairy tale. The Grimm's fairy tales, Hansel and Gretel. There you go. In case no one knows the story, if you haven't.
Omlin says if it doesn't, their goose is cooked. So there you go.
Nah.
See, there's a delay in everything.
At least it's Nestle chocolate. it's just Nestle chocolate. It's not the good stuff.
No. Nestle is also not, I think, guaranteed fair trade chocolate, which means you don't know if children were used in its extraction or if people were paid properly
Nestle
for their chocolate.
Yeah. Nestle is famous in the United States for hoarding drinking water in Southern California. Yeah. That's what they're known for. So most people hate them already.
I don't feel bad for Nestle. Yeah.
Take the drinking water.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm just reporting the ridiculousness of somebody stealing 12 tons of chocolate. I don't really care if Nestle's losing money.
And they put road salt in their drinking water. Let's have another.
My next story is another weird happenstance over the weekend because I had these weird things happening. Somebody dropped off a World War II bomb at the Surrey Council office, and they had to shut the place down. This is actually a story from 12 minutes ago by Joshua Askew.
Wow,
Account on the BBC. A council office had to be evacuated earlier after a member of the public dropped off a World War II-era bomb. Staff had to leave the Epsom and Ewell Borough Council offices after an unexploded mortar shell was brought to the front counter of the building, Surrey police just said just after 11 British Standard Time. So it was literally like, that was a while ago. A cordon was set up in Epsom Town Centre, with residents of houses within the 100-meter cordon also evacuated. Bomb disposal attended the scene. The Ministry of Defence told the BBC later on today that the 2-inch bomb was safely disposed of by demolition. Surrey police said the cordon had been lifted. Residents are able to go back to their homes and town centre as fully reopened, a police spokesperson said. It had urged people to stay away from the area while the incident was dealt with. Epsom and Ewell Borough Council said no one had been harmed. The local authority thanked Surrey police for bringing the situation to a swift resolution which kept staff and residents safe. A spokesperson said, "We advise anyone who finds a suspected unexploded device not to touch it and definitely don't bring it to the council office. Please move at least 100 meters away and contact the police immediately by calling 999. And yeah, I don't know what this guy was thinking. Let me just bring the bomb to the... Hey, what do I do with this unexploded mortar shell? First of all, don't bring it to a place where people are. Hello?
Don't bring it anywhere. Don't bring it
just
even
leave it alone.
1 millimeter closer to anything. Just call yourself the bomb squad.
That's my shorter news story.
The bomb squad sits around all day waiting for something to do. They love this shit. Mm-hmm. Especially something that old. Of course, in a related story, this man did receive a thank you note over the weekend. He says, "Thanks for had a great time at your party last weekend. It was the bomb." It was literally the bomb.
You're supposed to.
I know it's a pun, but it's also hypothetical. If you gotta know.
Okay, thank you for your hypothetical pun.
that party was the bomb, and it actually wasn't a party. It just was a bomb. So there you go.
Our next segue is an accurate metaphor and simile.
We only got one story for our lead off. And again, the overwhelming number one thing you think about the Trump administration is what? Incompetence? But you're forgetting about the number one thing. Competence might be number 2 or 3 down the list. Number one thing is greed. Greed. Don't forget greed. Greed is all behind all of this. It's like, hey, how can we make money off being in the government? Which is totally illegal, but who cares? What are laws? Laws are for stupid people, right? Laws. This is from BBC.com talking about the gruesome war bet. Fuels called for Kalshi poly-market crackdown. There's markets where you can bet on basically anything. So let's do it. Gruesome war. This is Natalie Sherman from BBC. Betting apps Polymarket has announced an investment of up to $2 billion from the owner of the New York Stock Exchange. Oh boy, that's interesting. Let's get to this story. Let's talk about the story this woman's writing. Stu, a 35-year-old from Montana, has enjoyed dabbling in sports betting since he downloaded the Cashy app about 18 months ago. Just a few weeks ago, after spotting reports of elevated pizza deliveries around the Pentagon during some late night scrolling, he made a different kind of bet, wagering $10 or 7 pounds, 7.5 pounds sterling. Holy Christ. Dollars worth 75% of a pound now. Way to go, Trump. You devalued our currency. This is the thing that's happening that we're not noticing, by the way. On the odds that he wagered $10 on the odds that Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would be out by the 1st of March. It was a trade that tested the limits and the kinds of bets Americans are allowed to make. So-called predictions markets overseen by firms such as Kalshi have exploded in popularity last year, hosting more than 44 billions in trade. But they are rapidly transforming the betting landscape in the U.S., where sports betting was largely illegal until 2018, and gambling on elections have been off limits to 2024. While much of the activity on the platforms revolves around sporting matches, users can speculate any number of questions, including local elections, whether the U.S. Central Bank will cut interest rates, and the year of Jesus Christ's return. I'm taking all bets on that one. I am taking all bets. Anybody, I'm going to start opening a casino. Send me your money on when Jesus returns. I guarantee I will never pay you. Ever. Right? Even if it returns, you need to fucking prove it. Right? The app caught fire during the 2020. People can bet on Jesus Christ's return. You are the biggest sucker in the world if you're betting on that. I just got to say. The app's caught fire during the 2024 U.S. presidential campaign for legal victory cleared the way for them to accept election bets, and they showed the odds for Trump, which, again, you should have known the market was being tilted because Trump did not win the election. He lost the election, and a lot of votes went uncounted, and this has been uncovered. This is not in the news because the news will lie to you. Back to the story, but it's more grisly wagers tied to military action involving Iran, Venezuela, and Israel that have drawn attention lately. In theory, such bets run afoul of U.S. financial rules, which bar trading on contracts involving war, terrorism, assassination, gaming, and other illegal activities, but it hasn't stopped firms from taking millions in trades. Critics have seized on the activity, calling for a crackdown on the apps, which they say are facilitating unseemly and potentially illegal war profiteering, generating national security risks, and enabling opportunities for insider trading and corruption. You have now opened up gambling basically on almost anything, and it has turned into this very, very gruesome type of thing and the death of a head of a state, said Craig Holman, government officials, lobbyists, publicists, and advocacy group, which recently filed a complaint this week over the bets. Polymarket alone has hosted what Bloomberg estimated as more than $500 million in bets related to the Iran war, at one point offering an opportunity to play the odds on the chance of nuclear detonation. Oh, okay. The company, which is headquartered in New York, operates on a limited basis in U.S., eventually moved that market after it drew scrutiny. Social media abusers still met bets on questions like when U.S. forces will enter Iran and did not respond to the BBC's request for comment. Of course, the Pentagon is insider trading, and the Trump boys are insider trading, and we know these profiteers are all just in there going, we know it's going to happen ahead of time. And if I was Iran, I would be paying attention to this because I'd be watching these profiteers. Oh, shit, that's where they're going to bet. That's where all the bets are going. Let's go. Let's get ready for it. Kalshi also ended up canceling the Khamenei market. That was the Ayatollah that was killed, which had drawn $54 million in trades, noting that U.S. regulated entities were barred from having market directly settling on someone's death. Yeah, you just go to another country and bet. It ain't that hard. The company, which rich people don't care about countries. Come on, man. The company, which did not respond to requests for comment on the article, said the war bets were happening on unregulated exchanges outside the U.S. Okay, so they're just trying to cover their own ass. So the poly market bets are a problem. People can bet on elections. They can bet on assassinations. They can bet on when we're going to bomb people. Should be illegal. Should be illegal in the United States. Should be 100% illegal. It is war profiteering to the nth degree. You're betting on people's lives, and people are making decisions being influenced by this market because they may have money in the market too. So there's your poly market crap. Unregulated capitalism will bring you profiteering off everything.
Yep.
So here we are in the age of stupid, where rich people just do what the hell they want.
The Hunger Games is real. Lucky for us, we're not actually having the Hunger Games because, that would be even more tragic than the reality we already live in. We haven't gone there yet, guys. We're not having children kill each other. No, not yet. No, we're not having 12-year-olds fighting each other in a death match. Not yet. Okay. Not here, anyways. Not in the Western world. I don't think they're doing it in the Eastern world either. Yeah, well, nobody's betting on that.
Taking care of that, right?
And that's only in one country.
How do you know nobody's betting on it? How do you know?
How can you bet on something that's a freak accident? Unless you're trying to indicate school shootings are all set up by a conspiracy.
I'm not saying poly market's betting on it. Maybe somebody is. When's the next school shooting? What state? How many gonna die? That kind of. Who knows what these fucking sick bastards are up to? Anyway,
I'm just saying it's not governmentally mandated children fighting each other. That's all. Betting on war is like placing your chips on a rigged game of poker where the cards are marked and the stakes are paid for with the lives of soldiers. Trading in the shadows
Right,
like commodities on a bloodstained market. There's your metaphor. Your poetic metaphor.
Put that. Hold on a second.
Put that on a
You
shirt.
put that straight up in the metaphor expert. We need to get Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre needs to be on this because he's the only investigative reporter in America worth the shit. He's a sports reporter, unfortunately, but he's been checking on the gambling market, so he needs to get on this. Pablo,
he's
get
the
on
gambling
this,
expert.
Find out who's placing these bets. Find out who's placing these bets. Put them in prison because they are trading on insider information. That is against the law.
Okay. Well, I guess is that your only story? I think that's what you said, right?
Yep,
that's your only story.
That's my only story because my second segment has 2 stories.
Okay, then let's roll the segue wheel. And we'll cover my story. Which...
It is Mucking Fonday, so...
Bad
we'll
pun!
muck until we start mucking. Pun! I already did a pun, so I'm in pun mood.
You're punny today. This story is coming out of the Netherlands on NOS, in collaboration with Drenthe, RTV Drenthe. The Labor Inspectorate has imposed fines totaling more than 700,000 euros on Zorggroep Drenthe, which means caring group or health group, Woonzorg Flevoland, which means living care Flevoland, and Avans University of Applied Scientists. According to the inspectorate, they employed dozens of Indonesian nurses under false pretenses. Labor laws breaking. To enable the nurses to start working here with a resident permit, they were promised during recruitment in Indonesia that they would pursue a higher professional education program, including an internship of 16 hours per week. The Labor Inspectorate, however, states that in practice, the Indonesian nurses were deployed as full-fledged employees for various care tasks and worked more hours than agreed. There was no question of a supervised internship. So they were being paid like they were interns, but they were being treated like full-fledged nurses. Moreover, the employers did not have the work permits for healthcare students that are required for this. That is a sham arrangement, the inspectorate concludes. They weren't paying their taxes, what I hear. That's what I'm hearing from this. They were being paid like they were working 16 hours a week, so they weren't paying their taxes to the government. And then, hey, you guys owe us a lot of taxes. At least Zorggroep Drenthe has been fined 224,000 euros. Avans Plus has been fined 347,000 euros, and Woonzorg Flevoland has been fined 132,000 euros and 33,000 euros. The latter is for violating the Minimum Wage and Minimum Holiday Allowance Act, which means that they were being paid minimum wage and they also weren't given their holiday. They weren't given their paid holiday, which is also a protection you get it's working in the Netherlands. Wow, these guys are scum. In addition to the fines, both healthcare groups nurses are treated bad enough already, and then they're like, here's literally nothing for your work, and also you don't get a fucking holiday. And they're from a third world country or whatever, right? They're from a developing country. This complete disgusting event that this is. I'm disappointed, but it's a good thing we found out it's happening, I guess. In addition to the fines, both healthcare groups are receiving a so-called warning, a preventative shutdown. This is a final formal warning. If the situation or a similar situation occurs again, the inspectorate can completely shut down a company or institution, reports RTV Drenthe. The 2 healthcare institutions at Avans Plus plan to bring around 1,200 students from Indonesia to the Netherlands annually with the help of mediation agency Yomima from Waalwijk. 2 years ago, after the first 64 Indonesian nurses arrived in the Netherlands starting in 21, it became clear that things were not going well for them. Some of the nurses felt lied to and exploited in the Netherlands, and all they have to do is ask, hey, wait, you got holiday? I don't get holiday. And then the other nurse goes, you're not getting holiday? You're working 40 hours a week and they're not giving you holiday? You need to go contact the government right now. You're all being used and abused. Many of them dropped out of the work-study program. Avance Plus therefore decided to stop admitting new students. The university reached a settlement with 15 Indonesian students in 24. They received a total compensation of 100,000 euros for being lied to. Even before the project started, foreign ministries were highly critical of it. The Immigration and Nationalization Service, IND, previously stated in a report that the design of the work-study program was flawed and that the University of Applied Sciences had violated multiple laws and regulations. So that's why you have worker protections right there, just for cases like this. And now they've been punished for breaking the law. I wonder, this is from June of last year. I'm just looking. I think this is when they found out about it. Yeah, they found out about this in June of last year, but they finally actually fined all the companies involved after their investigation as of this week. So there's an example right there of people who will do anything to live in a different country, even being treated basically like nurse slaves. You're muted. I can't hear you.
God, I don't even have any good nurse puns other than, I don't even know. Man, terrible. I'm lost without puns. Maybe... nothing, man. Nothing. Maybe they can nurse this situation into successful something or other.
No, they can't.
Just nothing, man. There's no. I looked them up on the internet. There is no nurse puns that are even funny. They're all stupid. There's nothing funny about nurse.
What's a nurse's favorite lunch item? And then it's just one of those kind of things. Yeah.
And it's just dumb. They're all about doctors. Most of them wrote this.
Nurses, see, another great example of nurses getting no respect. Don't even get good puns on the internet by the AI.
These aren't even funny. I'm embarrassed to even read these to myself. They're not even funny. Like, okay, here's a nursing joke. They're just at random. They're not even funny. Knock knock, who's there? I'm sorry, the information is protected by HIPAA. No, I no idea. That's not even a joke. What does that even mean? It's like it's private patient. Just the worst joke ever. Don't nurses have senses of humor? The worst jokes. I couldn't think of one. I couldn't find one.
Our next story is coming out of the general EU.
That's what it is. It's pun malpractice.
A watchdog, I don't know where the watchdog comes from, but I'm sure the story will tell us, has found that 5 EU governments are consistently dismantling rule of law. And I bet you can guess who those are, because I've at least been complaining about 2 of them for the last 3 years. This story is coming from the Irish Times by John Henley. Governments in the 5 EU states are consistently intentionally eroding the rule of law, Europe's leading civil liberties group has warned, while democratic standards are deteriorating in 6 more, including historically strong democracies. Drawing evidence from more than 40 NGOs in 22 countries, the Civil Liberties Union for Europe, Liberties, described the governments of Bulgaria, Croatia, Hungary, Italy, and Slovakia as dismantlers that were actively weakening the rule of law. Italy? No way! The far-right government is dismantling law? The group's 2026 report, released today on the 30th of March, said the rule of law had regressed in all areas of justice, anti-corruption. Wait, you mean the country that's had the same ruler for like 10 years, 12 years now? That's crazy! Medium freedom and civil society checks and balances. In Slovakia, under the populist authoritarian pro-Moscow government of Robert Fico. The picture was similarly bleak in Bulgaria, while Hungary, where Viktor Orban, 12 years? 16 years in power, could end after elections on April 12th. Please, if God is real, kick that guy off of his seat and then throw him in the ocean. Remains in a category of its own, continuing to pursue even more regressive laws and policies with no sign of change. Elsewhere, Liberties identified Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, and Sweden, all countries with strong democratic tradition, as sliders, places where the rule of law is declining in some areas without erosion being part of the overall political strategy. Well, we'll see what happens when Macron is out of power, because he can't get elected now after this. So it might go up or it might continue going down. We'll see. In Germany, well, we already know about the problem with Germany. They have the AfD. All over the east part of Germany is just AfD, pro-AfD for some reason. I'm not sure about Denmark. I'm not sure what's happening in Denmark. I'm not sure about that. Or Sweden. But Belgium is the center of the EU, so there's always going to be corruption there because that's Brussels. The Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Ireland, Lithuania, and the Netherlands, Romania, and Spain were all classified as stagnators, defined as countries where rule of law conditions were neither improving nor deteriorating. Hey, that's better than deteriorating, that 800-page report said. Poland also fell into that category, with the Prime Minister Donald Tusk trying to restore key elements of rule of law, such as independent judiciary, dismantled by the former Law and Justice government, but being hampered by presidential veto. Because that's the current person who's president, is the Law and Justice government. Poland's limited progress so far shows how challenging and fragile it can be to restore compromised institutional independence, Liberties said. Only Latvia merited the hard worker status, with the government actively improving rule of law standards, which is something you always have to do because sadly power corrupts, so you always have to be fighting against the corruption of power. And that's why Latvia is getting that gold merit, I get, because they're actually trying to make sure they don't get corrupted. The report also said that the EU's mechanisms for addressing erosion of rule of law were largely ineffective, with most member states failing to turn guidance into tangible action despite several years of recommendations from the European Commission. It found that 93% of all recommendations in the EU executive's own 2025 rule of law reports were repeats from previous years. As in, you're still not doing the stuff we told you should do to make sure you're not corrupt. Can you please start doing these things? Many carried over with no change in the wording, while the number of new recommendations had fallen by half since 24. Out of the 100 Commission recommendations assessed by Liberties, 61 showed zero progress, while 13 more were deteriorating instead of getting better. The Commission's report was meant to prompt concrete action, said Elena Neshik, Liberty's executive director. But after 7 annual editions, Liberty's findings highlight not only backsliding, but also ongoing and deliberate efforts to undermine the rule of law. Repeating recommendations without meaningful follow-up will not reverse this, she said. The report also criticized EU institutions in general, saying that in 2025 they had not only mirrored many of the issues seen in member states, but also failed to consistently apply and defend fundamental rights. They normalized the use of exceptional fast-tracking lawmaking, rolled back key fundamental right protections, and led a concerted campaign against watchdog organization, said Kirsty McCourt, Liberty's senior advocacy advisor. Oh, that's suspicious. They don't want us watching them and reporting what's happening. That's not corrupt at all. When that happens, McCourt added, the institutions undermine the credibility of the EU and of its own rule of law reports. Liberties found rule of law conditions had deteriorated most in 2025 in the democratic checks and balances pillar, independent NGOs and civil societies being able to organize, challenge decisions, and hold governments to account. They were not able to in a lot of these countries. Regressive legislation and strong penalties for attending banned protests were increasing. It found, including in Hungary, where pride events were banned and their organizers, including the mayor of Budapest, placed under a formal investigation. Reminder, a lot of countries were also banning independent NGOs and civil society as anti-government organizations because they were against what we stand for currently, right? I believe immigrants aren't people. Hey, you can't say that. Hey, you're anti-government. I'm putting you in jail. That's what they were doing in a lot of these countries. In Italy, a highly restrictive security decree was adopted criminalizing road blockades and other forms of dissent, but strengthening guarantees for police. In several member states, climate and pro-Palestine protests faced bans and criminalization. Hey, you're pro-Palestine? You're going to jail for 10 years. Wow, that seems like a freedom. The Justice Pillar, too, showed lack of progress, Liberty said, highlighting in particular what it called an emerging trend of increasingly critical or hostile political discourse towards the judiciary and human rights institution. It found little progress either on or against anti-corruption efforts, and on media freedom, only a small number of states had made measurable improvements. Attacks on journalists increased in Bulgaria, Croatia, Italy, and the Netherlands, and especially Slovakia. That was reported by The Guardian. So, there's your sad news on something I've been complaining about for 3 years. Just government so obviously just saying, I'm going to do what I want, even if it breaks human rights. What are you going to do about it?
Yep. There we go. I have a pun.
All right, give it to me.
What did the fascist leader of Italy, speaking of Italy, what did the fascist leader of Italy name his cow? Or her cow, in this case.
What was it?
Mussolini. There you go. There's your terrible pun.
Well, hopefully that cow will be hanging in a butcher shop.
What did you call the non-binary fascist? What did you call them? There's another one.
No idea.
Not she. Not she. There you go. Oh.
That's terrible.
All right. All right. Nice stories. Next day, sure. All right.
Let's roll our segue.
Let's talk about the moon. What do we spend?
Beautiful, beautiful moon. It's time for me to give you a hypothetical.
Yeah, the moon's still there. It's still there after all this trouble you've given it over the years. It's still hanging around us. We sing a lot of songs to it, right? We think, oh, this moon, save me. And the moon don't give a shit, right? It's just a big cold rock. CBSNews.com has a story. William Harwood, Artemis 2 astronauts say they're ready to go for moon launch ahead, 49-hour countdown. I would be surprised if they said anything else. If they said, we're not quite ready to go, that would be something, right? Oh, I don't know. I'm having second thoughts. Anywho, on the eve of the launch countdown for their trip around the moon, Artemis 2 astronauts said Sunday they're ready to go as ground teams prepare their rocket blast off on Wednesday, weather permitting. Artemis 2 Commander Reed Weissman and Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen flew to the Kennedy Space Center from Houston on Friday to prepare for the launch. They did not fly. They got in a plane, and that took them there. They didn't fly themselves. They actually can't fly. Humans can't fly. So
thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, I'm just saying. When they do that thing, it's like, I'm about to do that line. They flew to Kennedy Space Center, and boy, are their arms tired, you know? Isolation. And
that's why they got selected to be astronauts, because they could fly already. You know?
I get it. They flew there. They didn't drive. Thanks. They didn't die. There's a famous story about the astronauts wearing diapers, right? Astronauts wear diapers. A lot of people don't realize this, but there was the famous Fatal Attraction astronaut. She was in love with one of her fellow astronauts who was also married, and she was stalking him, and she drove to his house wearing one of those diapers so she didn't have to take any bathroom breaks. Like, she was in a hurry. Crazy, right? Astronauts can be crazy. Things are certainly starting to feel real here at the Cape, said Koch, who carried out 6 spacewalks doing a 28-day expedition aboard the International Space Station in 1920. The year is 19220. Not 1920. We did not have anything in space in 1920. Our families joined us yesterday, and we had a chance to be there be in the pre-test briefing. So the actual starting the launch countdown. So we're excited to be part of all of that. And here's a picture with all 4 of them. The astronauts originally hoped to take off in early February, but worked to fix hydrogen fuel leaks and more recently trouble pressurizing the rocket's upper storage propulsion system combined to push the launch April 1st. Don't be in a big damn hurry. Make sure it's safe, man. Well, the crew is optimistic about their chances of getting off the ground Wednesday. Wiseman cautioned that is a test flight. This is the first time we're loading humans on board, and I will tell you, the 4 of us are ready to go. The team is ready to go. The vehicle's ready to go. But not for 1 second do we have expectation that we are going. We will go when this vehicle tells us it's ready, when the team is ready to go. So we might go up to the pad, and we might have to try again a few more times. And we are 100% ready for that. 100%, huh? I love that term. Everybody uses it now. 100%, 100%. Like, nobody's 99% on anything anymore. Nobody's 110% anymore. That guy. Anyway, the 49-hour, 40-minute countdown is set to begin at 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time Monday, which is in about 5 hours. If all goes well, the clock will hit zero at 6:24 p.m. Wednesday, and the crew will blast off from an Orion cruise ship atop a 322-foot tall space launch system rocket, both making their first flight with astronauts on board. When you see this vehicle on the pad, you will look at the size of the vehicle, and you know it's going to one place. It's going to space, and it's going to go there in a hurry, Weissman said. When those engines light, this thing is moving out. Boy, they're setting themselves up, huh? Hopefully it's successful. The crew takes off and opening a 2-hour launch window on Wednesday. They'll travel farther from Earth than any humans before them, reaching a distance of 252,799 miles, about 4,144 miles farther than the record set by Apollo 13 crew, which didn't really accomplish anything except returning to Earth because of their malfunctions.
Okay, you go
And
fly
that
up there
happened
into
in
space.
The mission is seen as a trailblazer sort, setting the stage for a flight next year in Earth orbit, where another crew will test rendezvous and docking procedures, and moonlanders begin building by SpaceX and Blue Origin. There's your big pipe dream for all the billionaires who can't fix any problems on Earth, so they're going to pretend that we can live on the moon, which we can't, which is complete pie in the sky, literally stuff, right? But yeah, we'll just keep sending money down the range for this moon thing. Where's your hypothetical?
My hypothetical is, if these astronauts could fly, how long would it take them to get to the moon?
Well,
And would they fly?
Pretty quick.
Well, no, obviously they'd be wearing their spacesuits still. Don't be silly.
I suppose so. Right.
Well, they would
Right, and they could just land. Yeah,
I feel like they
unfortunately, we're
wouldn't-
not Buck Rogers yet.
Yeah, I don't know if they would be able to
We're not-
compete against the gravity of the Earth. Maybe. I don't
None
think
of
any
us are
bird
Flash
can leave the
Gordon or Buck
stratosphere.
Rogers just yet. Flash up. All right. Now, okay, back down
Another
to Earth
story.
with people who have only entered the stratosphere of fame and fortune. That being one Tiger Woods, once the most famous athlete in the world, and now a guy who just cannot get a break, and he needs to stop driving cars. Tiger Woods should not get behind the wheel of anything that goes faster than a golf cart for the rest of his life. Sorry, Tiger, you can afford it. Hire a chauffeur. People.com has the story. Charlotte Phillip, why Tiger Woods won't hire a driver. Let's hear his bullshit excuse. He's afraid somebody's going to see what he's doing in his private life. I think that's what it is. But again, taxis exist, Tiger. They do exist. Tiger Woods' desire for privacy is stopping him from hiring a driver, a source tells People. Following his arrest for driving under the influence, which is DUI, near Jupiter Island, Florida, on Friday, March 27th, a local source tells People exclusively that professional golfer has opted not to hire a driver for himself, despite previously being involved in other car accidents. Woods, who is 50 now, I just remember him, he was a little kid, man, doesn't want anyone to watch over him or know what he is doing, the source said, and he thinks he is fine to drive. Everybody thinks they're fine to drive, especially the drunks. They
Until
really
somebody gets hurt.
the athlete. Yep, that guy with no arms and no legs thought he was fine to drive after he shot that guy, right? I'm fine. Sure you are. The athlete was charged with DUI and property damage, as well as refusal to submit to a lawful test or was involved in a rollover crash on Friday. Source adds that Woods prefers to keep his life private and dislikes negative attention. Here's the thing, man. Here's what you do. You hire a chauffeur and he signs a non-disclosure agreement. If you tell anybody anything you see, you owe me $1 billion. Good luck. Yeah, that works. It works for Trump, doesn't it? He's got them all over the place. Come on, Tiger. You're even in the Trump orbit now. You're in his family. You got to understand that drivers can be paid off to not say a damn thing. I don't understand his logic. He must think everybody's a snitch. Anyway, it says he is not a social butterfly. He prefers to hang around his home with his kids or hitting balls or playing video games, the source said. He despises public scrutiny. His kids are 17 and 18. They are almost adult. One of them is an adult. They're both gonna be in college. Like, one of them, pretty sure, is already in college. The other one's gonna be in college pretty soon. Tiger. Your home life is over. That's over with, right? You can play golf. Your kids are going to go play golf too. They're going to have their own careers and lives. No, don't use the kids as an excuse. This is the dumbest excuse I've ever heard of. He prefers to hang around with all his kids. Okay, he despises public scrutiny. What does hiring a driver have to do with public scrutiny? Tell me, please. A representative for Woods is not able to respond to people's requests for comment. Woods shares his two teenage children with his ex-wife, Ellen Nordegren, who once attacked him with a golf club with a 9-iron because, hey,
the one he cheated on.
She found his phone. She found his phone with all the texts, all the porn stars. Anyway, so that was years and years ago. That was 2009. That was a long time ago. Anyway, his daughter Sam, 18, and son Charlie, and is now dating Vanessa Trump. Oh my God. Gag me with a spoon. Tiger. The only thing he can date anymore is a Trump creature. And the source tells people that Vanessa seemingly fits easy into his world. Yes, Trumps are into deception. They love it. Vanessa settled.
Wasn't there always a thing about him always wanting to be accepted by white people? Isn't it like a thing Black people would always say about him? Like
Tiger
their
Woods
criticism
is the
of
least
Tiger Woods.
Right.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is not a black person, and culturally, right? He was raised as an army brat, right, in foreign countries, and he spent all of his time at the golf course. All of his time. I'm telling you, he was 6 years old. He was on TV. It was either Johnny Carson or Mike Douglas. 6-year-old Tiger Woods with his dad. I'm a prodigy! And he's been famous ever since. He's never not been famous. Poor guy doesn't know what it's like to be a private citizen, and he thinks collecting women is the thing that you do, and that's basically who he is. Mm-hmm. Vanessa has settled right into dating life due to the similarities in her current situation with kids. Why does she have a couple of kids she can't get visitation with too? Oh God. Great weather, out their door, golf in their lives, and school projects for their kids. School projects for their kids. Again, Tiger's kids are college age. Let's stop talking like they're little tiny things. They're gone. Tiger has no reason to stay home. None. His kids are going to college. They're gone. They're gone, folks. He's rich. She can send his kids to college. His kids don't want to go to college and they're fools. I'm just got that to say because they got it paid for. You're Tiger Woods' kid? Here's a scholarship. We don't even care if you can play golf. Here's a scholarship. Just go to our school.
Yeah, we can say we have Tiger Woods' kid here. Yeah. Wow, we're so cool and amazing.
Trump's granddaughter is supposedly a professional golfer, but she's got all kinds of sponsorships. She can't play golf. She can't play golf at all. But sponsorships because he's Trump, you know. Anyway, there's your story on Tiger Woods. We still don't have a legitimate reason why he doesn't know how to drive. The bullshit about the kids ain't working for me. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm not a professional golfer, but I'm pretty sure my 18 and 17-year-olds didn't need me around them all the time. I'm reasonably sure I raised them correctly where they didn't need me constantly. I hope, anyway.
Daddy, I can't do this. Give me money, please, to fix all my problems. I feel like that's what...
Yeah.
There's my hypothetical on what Tiger Woods' kids are like that. Must be, right? If they're still mentioning them, they must be like problems.
That. Yeah. They got 99 problems, but not having money isn't one of them. Or not having, the proper, whatever, supervision. Tiger's probably worried his kids are going to turn out like him. He's terrified his kids are. I can definitely get on board with that. He knows his dad was a piece of shit. And he was, my dad was a piece of shit, but I want my kids to turn out right. But Tiger, stop blaming other people and hire a driver. That's all you gotta do. Real simple. We'll never have to hear about you driving again. We don't want to hear it. If I see Tiger Woods on the road, I'm just going to park my car until he's gone. Right?
Here's another hypothetical. Tiger Woods is a great example of how cancel culture doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, it only exists when we want it to exist. That's the only time it ever exists, right? We want to say, oh boy.
Not him. I grew up learning about him in school. He can't be canceled. Yeah, you can. Your life will not change if you cancel Tiger Woods. He doesn't care about you,
And
dude. You don't have to
golf
defend
this
him.
weekend. Here's the problem I have with golf announcers too. They like propaganda. It's golf announcers didn't mention it at all. I didn't hear one mention of it. The biggest story in golf this weekend was the biggest story the biggest story in actual golf, people playing golf this weekend, was Gary Woodland's winning a golf tournament in Texas. Who is Gary Woodlands? Nobody fucking knows. However, he has cancer. He has cancer, and he won a fucking tournament in his home state. You can't pull for a guy like that. They say it's in remission, but you know how that works, right? With cancer. So that guy won with 21 under par, but the Tiger Woods story took over everything. But those guys
about
the
nothing.
Golf Channel did not talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about Tiger just being an idiot. Again, he was passing a landscaper. A guy is a landscaper working on a golf course. Obviously, they have landscapers that pull lawn equipment on trailers, and that guy wasn't going fast enough for old Tiger, so he tried to pass him and flipped his car over somehow. Flipped it on his side. He flipped his Range Rover, which don't drive a Range Rover. Tiger, get a car that doesn't roll over so easy. Anyway. That's a stupid story. That's our little stupid Mucking Fonday story. You had to get it out of the way.
Nothing happening, you know? Aww.
I'd say poor Tiger, but goddamn, I wish I had his problems. I really do wish I had his problems, you know? I would trade his problems. I would take his problems tomorrow. How to spend millions of dollars.
And sending all your children to university.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even think he has to pay. Like I said, I bet you they go on scholarship. I bet you they go.
Which is so messed up.
Charlie can play. First of all, Charlie can play golf. I've seen him play. He's very good. He's not Tiger, but he's very good. So he's probably going to be a pro someday. I don't know. I think his daughter's into some other sport. Anyway, let's do some other story.
Our next segue reminds me of a song, and we're going to do my culture story, which is really going to be easy because we're talking about Bob Dylan. This is the easiest segue for you today. There's millions of songs you could probably name.
Bob Dylan song.
Okay, sorry.
You're narrowing it down.
I said 1,000,000, not even 1,000. This is a story from Alex Petridis on The Guardian, I guess this is a bit of an editorial from him about why the biggest musician has joined the membership-based platform Patreon. Dylan's posts have so far been puzzling and therefore entirely in character. A couple of years back, the August music writer David Hepworth came up with a great line about Bob Dylan. Dylan, he averred, is like China. We can see what he's doing, but never quite work out why he's doing it. That's currently true about the unexpected launch of the 84-year-old singer-songwriter's Patreon. Everything about it is confusing. For one, there's the choice of the platform. Plenty of major music stars have flocked to the newsletter provider Substack in recent years to share their thoughts or show their workings and perhaps earn a little cash on the side. Everyone from Patti Smith to Dolly Parton to Charlie XCX and Rosalia. But Patreon, where fans pay monthly subscriptions for exclusive content from all sorts of creators, podcasters, thank you to our Patreon supporters, by the way, visual artists, has never really taken off with the big rock and pop musicians. The biggest name it could boast until now was Ben Folds. Then there's the fact that no one seems entirely certain if the posts that have thus far appeared on Lectures from Grave, billed as a living archive of lectures from the grave, letters never sent, and original short stories. Sorry, I just swallowed my spit, and I have to cough now. Right. Wrong hole. Are by Dylan or not? Is this really Dylan posting, or is it just somebody taking his face, right, and making money off of it? The writing and lectures posted so far on Patreon come without attribution or under pseudonymous names. The description of its the description of its content set only that your $5 or €4 a month will get you content curated by Bob Dylan. So not made by him, but curated by him, which isn't the same thing as authorship. This means by which the Patreon was announced, a couple of teaser videos and a flyer posted to Dylan's Instagram with no mention of it on his official website, and the fact that the lectures appear to have been voiced using AI have been cause for some concern among fans. If you take the comments under the Instagram post at face value, The Guardian has contacted representatives of Dylan with no reply. What he's posted up to this point does seem very Dylan-ish, or at least in the realm of his interest. The first post was context-free video of gospel singer Mahalia Jackson, somewhat in the vein of Dylan's Instagram, where context-free clips of everyone from James Cagney to Jerry Lee Lewis abound. Dylan famously performed alongside Jackson at the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. When the day's big event got underway, Martin Luther King's legendary I Have a Dream speech, Dylan's friend Wavy Gravy and apparently leaned over to the singer and said, "I hope he's over quick. Mahalia Jackson's on next." There's a lecture about Wild Bill Hickok, a folk hero of the Old West who, if the late Sam Shepard's dramatized 1987 interview, true Dylan is to be believed, has haunted Dylan since childhood. "I used to dream about things like Ava Gardner and Wild Bill Hickok," Dylan apparently told Shepard when asked about his childhood. "They were playing cards, chasing each other and getting around." Certainly, Hickok haunted Dylan's early oeuvre. The central character in 1962's Ramblin' Gamblin' Willie is based on him. There's a fictional letter sent by Mark Twain to Rudolph Valentino. If you're after a purported example of Twain's influence on Dylan's writing, online Dianologists can provide you with dozens, while Valentino cropped up both in the lyrics of Farewell, Angelina, Little Elves are dancing in Valentino-type tangos, and an oft-quoted line from an interview where Dylan listed him alongside T.S. Eliot, Robert Frost, and Lyndon B. Johnson as example of people he thought were poets. And if you want a particularly tenuous link between something posted on Patreon and Dylan's past, then you might consider that of Thomas Jefferson's Vice President Aaron Burr. The subject of another lecture was reputed to have kept a livery stable in the building that subsequently housed the Cafe Bazaar, one of the Greenwich Village's folk clubs where Dylan tried his luck in the early 60s, to no avail, as he protested in his autobiography, Chronicles. "The patrons are mostly working men who sat around laughing, cussing, and eating red meat, talking pussy. Talent scouts didn't come to those dens." The Cafe Bazaar's reputation for uncovering new talent took a further battering in the mid-60s when the owner fired a band who had a residency there called the Velvet Underground. Really? Interesting. Of course, tenuous links are meat and drink to Dylan. The man himself had seldom offered much in the way of exploitation, creating a void into which Dianologists have rushed. One suspects they're going to have a high old time decoding whatever he chooses to upload to his Patreon. If a man who sold his publishing to Universal for a reported $300 million back in 2020 patently doesn't need the $5 a month subscription fee, although one might argue, why shouldn't he be paid for his work? His fans are doubtless going to view it as a money exceptionally well spent. And if the whole business seems a little puzzling, there's decades of evidence to suggest that simply makes it very on brand. So there is your story about Bob Dylan on Patreon, posting puzzling things that aren't by him, but he curated, right? He's like, oh, look at this cool thing I have. Posting it on the internet now.
Another poor writer who thinks they have Bob Dylan figured out. I feel sorry for him. The fact about Bob Dylan is he doesn't hide. He doesn't go reclusive. He doesn't go in somewhere. He's always on tour. He has his own radio show for years. I don't know if he does it anymore. The Bob Dylan Theme Time radio show was a regular feature on satellite radio for like 20 years. He's no mystery. There's no mystery about what he likes. There's no mystery about what he is. But people want to cloak him in mystery for some reason. There really isn't. Anyway, the song reminds me of is, and he's a music lover, and he just wrote a book like this thick about music, taking apart songs one at a time, songs you wouldn't even think of, right? Just whatever. Bob Dylan he's a creator. He's also a sculptor. He's all kinds of things. The song it reminds me of is not one of your more popular ones. I was going to go with most likely you go your way and I go mine, which the line is, sometimes it gets so hard to care. It can't be like this everywhere, right? It can't be like this everywhere, right? He's just so frustrated. But another one is in the same album. It's called Temporary Like Achilles, and it harkens back to our Tiger Woods story. And he says, in one verse, he says, kneeling neath your ceiling, yes, I'll be here for a while, trying to read your poetry, but I'm helpless like a rich man's child. That's just a great line. I'm helpless like a rich man's child. That's exactly how rich kids are. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know anything. They're never shown anything in life. Everything's taken care of it. Any situation comes up, they don't have any coping skills. And he puts it so succinctly. I'm helpless like a rich man's child, right? It really didn't need explanation. Rich
well,
people
we start getting you off on Bob Dylan and
yeah. They're always like, oh, Bob Dylan did this and he did that. He don't care about your opinion. He isn't waiting for your approval. He gave up on that a long time ago. Before I was born, he gave up on your approval, I think. Maybe about 63 or 64, maybe, he gave up. Probably, I would say probably around the time he wrote Positively 4th Street. What year that? 65? That's when he gave up on, fuck your approval. I don't care anymore.
Exactly. Our next segue is accurate metaphor or simile. I'm going to re-roll because I already did that today.
Yes, you did.
At least give me a mixed metaphor or something.
You did mixed.
Oh, now it's time for... No, I didn't do mixed yet. It's instead time for a Remind Me of a song for me. So take us to this day in history.
Song, okay. Let's get through this day in history. I showed you a video. It's very short. It's from the news of the weekend that we didn't cover. 1228 on this day, the people of Palermo massacred, holy crap, massacred 2,000 French residents in the Sicilian Vespers, a revolt against the Angevin King Charles I. They had their own No King's Day right there. In 1811, German chemist Robert Bunsen was born in Göttingen, Westphalia. He observed that each element emits a light characteristic wavelength. Oh, he's the guy that shone sunlight through different elements and saw that they rescattered the different colors of the spectrum in different areas. Yeah.
Famously, also the dark side of the moon, right? Dark side of the moon.
Yeah, a light through a prism through a perfect prism does the scattering of the light, the Roy G. Biv thing, right? Mm-hmm. But if you were to put it through the other element, it scatters them in a whole different order, right? That's how you can identify elements with something called a spectrometer. So basically, this led to the invention of the spectrometer, where you can just point a light at an element and decide what it is. Now, 1853, Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh was born. Happy birthday to Vincent van Gogh. We know who he is, one of the greatest post-impressionists, known for works that convey not only keen observation of nature, but the anguish of mental illness. And of course, he saw things that you couldn't see because of his eyes. 1856, the Treaty of Paris was signed, ending the Crimean War. And of course, Crimea, that's been settled permanently, huh? 1858, Hyman L. Lippmann of Philadelphia received the U.S. patent for a pencil with an attached eraser because he knew people were going to make mistakes. Way to go, Mr. Lippmann. Why don't call it the Lippmann? He came up with the Lippmann test, I wonder. Not the litmus test, the Lippmann.
The Lippmann test.
The 1912, the Treaty of the Fez, F-E'-S, established the French protectorate in Morocco. And not too long after that, Casablanca movie was made, right? 1914, American blues vocalist and harmonica virtuoso Sonny Boy Williamson was born in Jackson, Tennessee. Your blues, Sonny Boy Williamson. The guy just played. I think he's the guy that stuck the harp in his mouth to play it. Like he stuck it in his mouth. He held it in his mouth. I don't verify that, but I believe he's the one that. I don't know if he originated that, but Sonny Boy, 1945. British rock musician Eric Clapton was born. Happy birthday, Eric Clapton, turned 82 today. Oh, wow, he's old. And highly influential guitarist who formed the Yardbirds, Cream, Derek and the Dominoes. What else? What other band was he in? Blind Faith with Steve Winwood. So he's in a lot of bands. Plus, he was on as the only person in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times. I don't know why they keep putting him in there. It makes no sense to me. But he's in there with as himself. He's in there with the Yardbirds, and he's in there, I believe, with Cream, right? Because they had to put Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce in. Anyway,
Cream's a good band. I feel like nobody ever talks about them.
They didn't make enough albums. They only made 3 albums. And that was it. That's it. And then Eric Clapton heard the Canadian band, and said, I don't want to make this heavy metal shit anymore. I want to make the band type music. 1968, French-Canadian pop singer Celine Dion. Happy birthday to her. She was 58 today. Oh my God. 1981, in Washington, D.C., barely 2 months after his inauguration, Ronald Reagan was shot and seriously wounded, and would-be assassin John W. Hinckley Jr., who is now free. And, I don't know, let's see if he can do a twofer. I don't know. I just a joke, everybody. 2002, Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, died at the age of 101. You wonder why these royals are living so damn long? The Queen Mother's the reason. That's why. She's got that longevity gene. So Charles has it, Elizabeth had it, and of course Elizabeth's mother had 101. And I think Queen Elizabeth lived to be like 100, right? 2003, the law banning cigarette smoking in all places of employment, including restaurants and bars, went into effect in New York City. And I do not remember, and people do not remember, the time when you could smoke in a restaurant anywhere, except maybe the South, they still do it. I think they still in the South, they let you have a smoking section. And by the way, the South is warm enough where you can smoke outside. And the North, where it's not warm enough to smoke outside, they make you go outside to smoke. Smokers. This is where most bad relationships start. Smoke breaks, right? It's like, we met in the smoke break. Yeah, that's not gonna last. Today in history, our featured event, 1867.
You heard it here, your old man's wisdom. Your old man wisdom right there.
Yeah, if you're bonding over your drug of choice, I don't know. U.S. purchases Alaska from Russia on this day in 1867. I'm sure Putin's trying to reverse this to this very day. Secretary of State William Seward struck a deal to purchase Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. The decision was mocked as Seward's folly, not less because it was a well-known fact that Russia had been attempting to sell Alaska since before the American Civil War. Seward's critics silenced, however, following the Klondike Gold Rush. And let's not forget the Klondike Oil Rush. All the oil that's trapped up there. So it was a very wise purchase. I don't know if Seward got to glorify and point his fingers in everybody's face and say, I made a good choice. Featured biography, Elizabeth Vigry Lebrun, French painter. She was born on April 16th. Well, it's the day she died. March 30th, 1842, at the age of 86. She got to be 86. That's a long damn time for a French painter, I think. 86. She must have done a lot of painting until the arthritis kicked in. She was born April 16th of 1755 in Paris. Born in Paris, died in Paris. I hope she traveled. Didn't just stay in Paris that whole time. Other birthdays today, Warren Beatty, who is so vain that he thinks that song is about him. He was born this day in 1937. God, Warren Beatty is 89 today. And Carly Simon wrote that song, one verse about him. I think it was the first verse, right? 1945, Eric Clapton. Piers Morgan, British journalist and television personality, if you want to use the word personality as loosely as possible. He has a personality, if you call being a spineless jellyfish a personality. So happy birthday to Piers Morgan. Can't sit up straight because he has no spine. He basically just does whatever his fascist masters tell him to do. Also, birthday of Celine Dion. We covered that's Norah Jones, born this day in 1979, American musician and actress. She's still waiting for you, by the way. Dude, he didn't show up. That was her first hit song. That one.
Oh.
She's just waiting and waiting. You dumb bastard. You stood up Norah Jones. Daughter of Ravi Shankar, the world's most famous sitar player. And her national days today. She was born in 79. That's making her what? 47. Wow. People just getting older as right before our eyes. It's National Virtual Vacation Day because the real one is out of question because of gas. Prices are, oh no, they'll be $9.
You can walk. You can go on a walking vacation.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a biking vacation. That's my plan. No fuel required at all. I'll take the e-bike even. I'll take an e-bike. So you have to pedal.
You should
National
be able to charge
Turkey
it,
Neck Soup Day.
Ooh.
National Turkey Neck Soup Day. So I guess. I don't know. Not a big fan of turkey.
Never had turkey neck?
It makes
really
me
good.
I've had plenty of turkey neck. I've had plenty of every kind of turkey, but I just can't eat turkey. It makes me sick.
I love turkey. It's my favorite
Pencil
meat.
Day, March
I'll eat all
30th.
the turkey. That's okay.
This is the day the pencil with the eraser was invented. So it's National Pencil Day.
Woohoo!
Got me one right here. The
You don't
number
have to
2
keep
pencil,
losing
the
your
most popular.
eraser.
And if you do this, neat little trick of pen. If you do this, it makes it look like it's wobbling back and forth. Ooh. The camera probably doesn't pick it up, but if you do this, especially with tired eyes, it looks like it's doing like a little. Anyway,
You can also do that thing where it makes like
fun
make it look
little-
like you broke the pencil. You have 2 pencils in your hand. You make it look like you broke it in half with 2 pencils.
Oh,
that illusion.
yeah. Can you do that for us?
No, I don't have any pencils.
Okay, so it's National I Am in Control Day, but you're not in control of the pencils. And take a walk in the park day. So there you go. You can do yourself a virtual vacation, right? Where you put on one of them things on your head and go for a walk in the park. Well, what's your step? Because you can't actually see where you're going. And don't trip over anything. So there you go. There's your days. Take a walk in the park. Everything, your mispronunciation, no haikus, no. Well, we kind of got by with our least labor-intensive spins today, huh? Not a whole lot, some mispronunciations. Your Mucking Fonday, everything for March 30th, 2026 on before. Hell, there's no food today. Turkey neck soup, sorry. Before turkey neck soup.
I was gonna say you forgot about the turkey.
Sounds good if you're
Don't
gonna.
forget about the turkey.
I'd make it and feed it to the dog. I have no problem with that.
Feed it to the dog.
All right, let's have a.
No, the
I'm not gonna eat
turkey.
it. Why would I eat that shit? I hate turkey. I just don't. I'm not a turkey guy. That goes on to another Mitch Hedberg joke.
Which is
Turkey, just be yourself. Oh, I go to the store, I see turkey bacon, turkey hamburger, turkey, turkey, just be yourself.
I think there's just a lot of turkey, so that's what they started making stuff out of it. Because it's
Cheaper than
technically
beef, theoretically.
it's the bird that's supposed to be here, you know. Chicken
like,
is from
why
China.
don't we eat
Beef
turkey
is
eggs?
not. Beef is from I don't know, Eurasia. Turkey is from America,
people are
so
what?
we should be eating turkey.
Why don't
Sure.
we eat turkey eggs? Because turkeys only lay about 2 eggs a week, and they're really hard. They're really hard shells. You probably need a hammer to break them.
I mean, you could probably domesticate a turkey to have better eggs, but
They
why
are
do that when you already have
domesticated.
chickens, right?
Domesticated turkey.
No, I mean,
yeah, domesticated
mean
turkey
actually
only lay
doing.
2 eggs a week.
Yeah, I meant actually doing
Make
ethics.
inner eggs. Yeah,
doing
you
some
can mutate all
gene
kinds of
manipulations
animals, but
and stuff.
turkeys have already been domesticated to the point where they're a farm crop. So I don't know, Miss Moore.
Yeah, but you can change them to make different ones. That's a thing you can do. That's the chickens we have now are not normal chickens you find in the wild. Those are totally different.
I think they
if
would
you
have
go
done
to
it by now. I think they would have done it by now.
I don't think. No, I wouldn't have. We haven't had them long enough. We didn't discover. Yeah, we've only discovered turkeys
Chickens,
in like the 1400s.
well, here's the thing.
Chickens have
There's
been
nothing
part
wrong
of
with
the
chicken,
human experience since
Chickens
before
lay an egg every single
in
day.
the BCs.
Chickens
don't understand
lay
what
an egg
I'm
every
saying.
single day. Turkeys,
I understand. You already
right
made that
again,
point.
You cannot make turkeys in the. You're making turkeys into chickens. Yeah, you're a crossbreed and will make a We're making turducken like we do on the John Madden halftime at the.
That's not what I'm saying either.
Thanksgiving thing. Let's make a turducken that lays eggs every day that are perfect size. I'm saying 4 wings, 8 drumsticks. Let's do it. Let's do the 3-legged chicken that nobody can catch. Let's do that one. Let's mutate the hell out of these birds. I'm just saying. I don't know why we're on this tangent. I'm saying if science could do it, they would have done it already, is what my point is. All right.
No, they wouldn't have, because they already have chickens. That's the argument I'm making. Nobody's done it because, oh, we already have chickens. Why would we make something new? We already have chickens.
They have bigger eggs. They have bigger eggs that last longer. I don't know. Everybody's trying to improve something, but I'm just saying they've got to a point where they don't need to improve it. With your point, they don't need to improve it. Why would they improve it? There's no reason to. There's no monetary gain in it.
That's what I'm saying. There's no reason because we have chickens. So, yeah, they're not going to do it because we have chickens.
3 times as much. A turkey will eat 3 times as much as a chicken that produce 2 over 7 the amount of eggs, right? That's like not even half. That's like 30% of the amount of eggs, and you're feeding it 3 times as much. That's just not going to do it, man. And the eggs are harder to crack. So there's a whole lot of mutation that would have to go into it. Anyway, that's enough of that crap.
The song this reminds me of is dun 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 dun, which is, you know, one of the most well-known Cream songs, "Sunshine of Your Love." You know.
Oh, okay.
I've been waiting so long. In the sunshine of your love. Yeah, that one. Yeah. See, everyone knows that riff. That's what I got reminded of. Go listen to Cream, I guess, because, you know, they were a super group or whatever they called them. Also, good morning,
They were the first
Desi. Thank you for stopping by.
They didn't know what else to call them.
Well, they were a super group because they had, you know, people they thought were really good.
Jack Bruce on bass, Ginger Baker on drums, and Eric Clapton on guitar. Jack Bruce was the singer. And Clapton did sing also. He sang on Sunshine of My Love. They both sang on Sunshine of My Love. I wait. And don't forget White Room. In my white room with black curtains. And don't forget the Tales of Brave Ulysses. Yeah, they had some really good albums. Disraeli Gears is their biggest.
Really? Okay.
Made no sense. Disraeli Gears made no sense. Disraeli years. No sense. Disraeli was the prime minister for Queen Victoria in the 1860s or something, right? Yay.
In our international UN observances, we have International Day of Zero Waste. That's right. Did you know there's ways where you can like consume things and not have any waste? Like a banana. A banana is a great example. You can eat the whole banana, you can take the peel, you can put it in a compost, and you can grow more bananas. You know, that's a great example of zero waste.
Throw an April Fool's gag. Throw it on the sidewalk.
But
somebody
there's ways.
Break your neck.
So let's celebrate ways in which we can consume things as human beings without leaving anything behind, like plastic bags and that one-use plastic, and, you know, recycle. Please recycle. Recycling counts as zero waste because you send it somewhere so it can be made into something else. So that's all we have for today on our UN International Observances. It's been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US. If you're not subscribed to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube, please do that. And thank you to everyone who's already subscribed, already following. Make sure you turn on those notification bells so you know when we go live and post a video, if our videos don't get copyright strike, that is. And thank you everyone on Patreon, on the Before Coffee supporters, for supporting the show so we can keep it going. Here is our very red mic drop moment.
Not a lot of
the
audio
power
on this one. Just
of
music.
the sun.
A red out in Australia.
Very red indeed.
That is spooky as hell. The world's ending.
This happens. It seems to happen every 5 years. Something like this happens with a dust storm or whatever.
Red skies at night.
It swept all the dust in. A lot of red sand. Well,
just bending that light so all you seen was red. That's all it was, really.
I thought
Bending the
cyclone
light.
season was done
Firstly,
already in
tropical
Australia.
cyclone Narelle. Narelle is a severe tropical cyclone and is impacting
But I guess it's
fall.
springtime for
along
us,
the
so
Gascoyne
makes sense.
coastline, packing wind gusts
Though it doesn't
of
feel
up
like
to
spring.
It's late fall in
260
Australia.
kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it's
short time
September,
ago, it
basically.
made
We have
landfall
hurricanes in September in the
near
United
Exmouth.
States, so.
The sun.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley,